All right, so today's video, we have a gold 4 Kiriko Moira. I'm interested in this one because basically they said this is the most insane, or one of the most insane games of Overwatch they've played. But on top of that, they're convinced they were not the problem, though, and want to hear my take. I'm sure this will be a treat. Whenever we hear that, it's always a good time. Subscribe to the YouTube, like the video, comment. All of that helps. Let you know when my videos go live. So, do that. Your team comp is very good. I want to point out, you're actually running what could be considered a meta comp. This combination has been being seen before. You're also going up against a D.Va comp, which D.Va is... It's funny because I don't like the matchup against Doom as D.Va, but I like the idea of survivability as a tank, which D.Va really lines up well against the Doom comp. But Doom is just dominating right now. All right. So far, you spent a little bit of extra time there just trying to DPS. And your Doom got rolled. And these type of comps, Okay. All right. Y'all can push the bot soon.
The enemy has the robots. We have to meet their push and stop it.
Like a gentle rain.
Watching the heals. Absolute classic. Now, I'm not saying your Doom isn't playing aggressive, but I do want to point out to you, you have not looked at your Doom at all. Your team doesn't push the bot. First step. Second step, you're not even looking to see where your Doom goes. You're like, yeah, they'll be fine. So far, you haven't pushed the bot. You're worried about DPSing somebody in front of you, and your Doom has died twice. Now, the DPS part of Kiriko is fine, but also, it can be very helpful to, at least throw a little bit of heals at your Doom, because your Doom has survivability, but sometimes they just need that 15 to 20% healing, or 15 to 20% HP worth of healing, to be able to just pop off and be good to go. You know what I'm saying?
Come to me for heals. Group up with me.
Yep. This is a part of healing Doom. Doom will be back to full HP. That's a cleanse. You know, I'm just going to pause for a second. I want to point out that most of the majority of what you've been doing right now is you've kind of been, all over the place, and you're not really... There's nothing really happening so far in reference to it being, an insane game. And granted, it does go... This is a pretty long push game, so I imagine it does pick up, but, so far from what I've seen, nothing has necessarily happened yet, nor has it been one of those things where, oh, this isn't on you. It's so far, it's kind of just nothing's happening. Remember, there's a Hanzo arrow there so they can see you. Now, some things I sometimes will call out is I'll say, there's a Hanzo, arrow on us so they can see us. That way our teammates don't have to wide peek that and just get rolled. All right, I want you to use your ultimate pretty quickly here. Your team needs to start taking this back by being pretty aggressive. If you use it here... Here we go. So, what happened there was it was just too late, and you were reactionary. Which... Being reactionary to ult sometimes is good if, your teammates are in a good spot, but your teammates are in the middle of the open, so once again, that's just, you gotta save your ultimate there, because if you use it too early, even though, if you use it in a spot where, they can follow up pretty easily, then it's not gonna go well. Now, keep in mind, I am always in the idea of, set the tempo, but you didn't set the tempo, the other team did. The other team did. I'm gonna be real with you, so far, this is just, this is a team effort of getting rolled, and being under the assumption of this game clearly wasn't going to be on me. I feel like it's just a team effort. If you're saying that you played it perfect and that your teammates all... Okay, that was a pretty good play by Doom. Honestly, we've all been there as Doom though.
Time to put a stop to their...
But your Doom is playing aggro there. I will say that. Told him to play Zen. Kiriko or Moira right now, I would actually take over Zen. The issue with Zen at the beginning of the season was the breakpoint, and that breakpoint is now back to what it is, where Zen is a bit more of a glass cannon, which is what Zenyatta is supposed to be, right? Zenyatta is supposed to be a glass cannon, but Zenyatta wasn't a glass cannon, and now they fixed that. I also want to point out, And I don't know if it's just me, but this mythic skin is wonderful. I don't know what, I love the animations of it, and there's a bit of a variety to it. I just want to point that out. After having a couple seasons of like, what was it, the Hanzo and the Orisa skin? I feel like this Moira skin is kind of bringing back to what people expect from, at least expect from mythic skins. This is kind of what people expect when there's a mythic skin each season. So to have it go from like the Hanzo and the Orisa one to what this one is now is really cool to see, because every time I see this Moira skin, I'm just like, this is so cool. I don't know. From the animations to the sounds to like just like the way it looks like, I don't know. Just a complete side note.
Come here for healing. Thank you.
I love the heal too. Like it's like the eye. Yep. Oh, I'm sure you love that one meme. Okay, I just need to pause very quickly because it was back to like that you convinced you were not the problem and like you want to hear my take, etc. There has been nothing here at the same time that's making me go, oh, you're absolutely dominating in this game. Like, wow, you're right. Your teammates were just going in and hard feeding, and you're doing the same thing that everybody else in your team is doing. Is you're running around the map. You're not really sure where you want to go. You're not even like, there's no synergy with your team. Like your Lucio just used beat, and the first reaction you had was to fade away from beat and then get rolled, right? It's not like this is just like my team is, running in and it's, nothing's really happening as a team. It's a team effort right now where like your team is getting rolled. You're all over the place, like your whole team. That's gonna happen. But it's not like, what are they doing? Basically, you're running in circles. And like, I'm at the point now where like I can't pause something and be like, okay, going this way is the best way, because like you're just kind of going wherever. All right, time to ult yet? You could have an ult time and after this if you really wanted to, but it'd have to be very soon. Otherwise, you're gonna keep giving them map control. I'm okay with this ultimate because it means that you're being proactive in this next team fight. I don't even care if it gets nobody. At least it's making them have to react. And okay, now they Kiriko ult after, which is a good ult by them. Yup. I'm gonna be honest with you, and maybe I didn't, because I get the summary here from Danny, but like, who do you think on your team is causing issues for like your team? Because like all I've watched is kind of like you play this a bit solo, and yeah, like you're getting dove, but like sometimes you get traded on. I think more of the problem is that you're playing almost like a super defensive playstyle as Moira, and you're not sticking with your team. You end up by yourself, and then you fall over, and then you fall over. You said no treadmill today? I did my workout in the morning, so like it's like a different workout than that. I still might do it later, but yeah, today was like one of the actual workout days. Look where you're at. Look where you're at right now. I just want to point this out. I'm gonna point something out here. I want you to see something here. Okay? This has been your gameplay. You're in the middle of the open by yourself sometimes. Now, granted, you've lost some of your teammates, so they're running back from spawn, right? Now you're backing away. It's safe. But my point is how often are we finding you just like this? This has been the gameplay the whole time. I can't even like look at this and be like, okay, go do this, because like there's been a lot of just running around in circles. Yeah, exactly, like a deathmatch. So in these type of situations, but rather than go, oh, I'm not the problem, what do you think? Like more of what this is like you need to work with your team. There has been no working with your team. You said the Lucio was throwing though. Lucio was over here because their team was having a team fight here and they probably tried to escape. I don't look at that as that way. Maybe I'm missing something here with the Lucio, but I feel like the Lucio has been with the team the majority of the time. It just happened to be one of those things where I paused and they were out of position. As they get rolled by a Hanzo arrow immediately after we talk about that. But I wouldn't call that throwing. Yeah, I can already tell what's happening here, and I can tell you exactly how to adjust and like fix what's happening like with your team. You are spending the majority of the time kind of playing like this, okay. I've had this like, and maybe I can use like the epic pen too. There we go. Okay, you see this? Your team likes to go in. This is just a random point, right? Your strategy has been, okay, my team's going in. I'm gonna go this way. Okay. So if 3 or 4 of your teammates are going this way, and your reaction is to go this way, who is on the same page? Oh, sometimes you'll change up a bit and go this way. You see what's happening? So what you need to do is, and I talk about it all the time, at a certain point, we'll put like a line here, kind of where everything's happening, you need to make a decision and figure out the pace of your team. If your team likes to push in aggressively, then you work with your team. Because if you all in with your team, this score line up here is going to change, right? Because this is all that's happening. It's a back and forth of nothing happening, okay? So, rather than you constantly disengage out, go at the pace of your team. You're playing a hero like Moira who can play these all-in strategies, and things will go better. So the new reaction is, okay, my Doom goes in, and then you go in, all right? This is not a do this every time. This is understanding how your team plays. If you have an aggressive team, you play with your team, especially in a comp that is designed around that brawl outside of the random Hanzo pick. But, like, that can work, okay? And that's been the issue the whole game. There's been nothing here where I go, oh, I can't believe, oh, there's your teammates again. Like, yeah, they're playing somewhat aggro, but go at that same pace.
We cannot allow them to take the robot.
Go at the same pace. Here we go.
Their barricade is advancing.
Oh. Watching. Wait for it. Wait for it. Good job. Now, by the way, just to pause very quickly and show you something here too. Do you see how, like, you're working with your tracer right there and how you're being a little bit aggressive? This is kind of an example of what happens when you work with your teammates in a way. Do you see what I'm saying here? So do you see how you're working with your tracer right now and, like, you're going in and you're making these plays? This is what happens when you kind of play at that same, like, play style and aggression. You see that? That's what I'm kind of showcase you is, like, when you play at, like, the same pace of how your team's playing and you recognize that. Keep in mind, I'll go a whole game of ranked and top 500 and not recognize playstyles. And, like, I'll be like, okay, in hindsight, I should have done this. So, like, don't get me wrong. Like, not, like, making that adjustment mid-game early on. It's just something that comes with time, right? And, like, the more and more that you're able to make a play off of that, the better, right? It doesn't mean it's going to be perfect every time, but what I will say is you're making an adjustment there with the team. Okay, now what you want to do is focus up where everybody is. There's a Kiriko in front of you. This is an interesting meet-up spot. Now you're going to sit right here. And then you want to be at the pace of your team. So you see how your Doomfist is already up there? Be up there with your team. Here we go. This is perfect. Okay, I'm gonna go up here, and hopefully this is helpful for you. Do you see how your team has already kind of pushed up here? Do you see this? Here, sorry. You see that right there? How you have, like, 3 of your teammates? Actually, it's probably better to do this. See how your teammates are here? See? Now, do you see the problem that's happening, though? You see how you're right here? Does this make sense to you? So basically, what's happening is your teammates get aggressive. Your play style kind of ends up being in the middle or in the back. So that way, the next set of cooldowns your teammates use into the team, right? The next set of cooldowns your teammates use into the team, just like that, are going to be into their team. So your next set of cooldowns will be where your teammates were before. So if you're kind of always a step behind, what I'm showing you here, by the way, is, like, the pacing of, like, your teammates. So you see what I'm saying here, though? The pacing of your team. Just try to be at the same, like, way that they're playing aggression style. I just wanted to show you that. That's where, like, it can feel like it can be really difficult when your teammates are doing that. And like, it's kind of happened again, by the way, there too. If you notice here, where, like, your Hanzo's on their own, right? You have three teammates playing aggressive, 1 coming back from spawn, and then you in the middle. That's why I want to see you play with more the majority of your team and the pacing that they're at. All right? Waiting for... You with your team. A little bit closer to your team. Okay. That's on your May. Did a nice block. Actually, I mean, honestly, not even really on your May. You know what? You know what's like... This is one of these push games, by the way. Like, this is one of these push games that feels like your team is constantly getting rolled, but the game's never over. But like, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. Be at the pace of your team. Pace of your team.
You're out of time. Take the robot.
Much better. Okay, actually, by the way, this was a great example of this, but you see how you were at the same pace of like your Doomfist and how your next cooldown could be with the team? You see what I'm saying? How like your next cooldown was going to be there? How it wouldn't have taken 2 cooldowns and you can be with them? This is a great example of you playing with your team and the result of that. You have follow-up. Your teammates weren't at full HP, but you were able to be there. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm trying to get you in like the mindset of like, if your team is playing at a certain like aggressive pace, or if they're playing defensive, if you play with your team more, you'll more likely get good results. Here we go. We're watching.
Justice reigns from above.
Good pick on the Pharah. I just want you to one more time, kind of just I want to showcase your position. You notice how you're starting to back away from your team a little bit. What I'm showing you here is like stay as a core sometimes as Moira. So I just want to point out, even though it was good, you got the Pharah, which was funny watching the Pharah go into the air and you couldn't get him yet. But the point I'm making is like that pacing, you're falling back. Try to be just a little bit with your team. All right. I know that we've kind of been like almost hammering that point. It kind of gets you like in the, okay, the play style of, okay, go into a game, my teammates play this type of style. If I'm able to kind of like work with my team in that way, it will be good. When it comes to the style of their play. That's just unlucky. I love how you finally work with your core and you get Hanzo ulted. Feels bad. Here we go. This is a long team fight. At least you got a good spawn. I like how you're just running back now and falling over. I can't believe this game's still going. Ah! Oh wait, Moira. Moiras in general. Have you been noticing like the range increase? I feel like I can see it just from this point of view. No! That actually ended up being a lot closer than I thought it was gonna be, especially how the game was going. I think my like biggest advice from this game specifically, at least from what I you know, obviously we brought it up a few times, is just try to like play at the same pace. If your team plays aggressive, you play aggressive. Remember, as Moira and even Kiriko, like sometimes those strategies are like what they're called, like, I mean, you can just kind of call them. There's different like variations of them, but like kind of like all-in strategies, Does that make sense? Where like, if your team goes in, you go in with them, and you kind of just play as a core. And a lot of the time, playing as a core is how you just win as a team, because the other team isn't doing that. So I'd say like just the general response I see with like the way you were playing it, try to be less in like the middle, that middle ground, and more with like your team. If your team wants to play back, you're playing with your team that way. If your team wants to play aggressive, then you're going to play aggressive that way. And then obviously there's going to be like different styles that happen. Maybe like you have a Wrecking Ball who plays aggressive, but you don't need to play aggressive with that Wrecking Ball, right? That's more of like a step-by-step process. I think the first process is just kind of playing with your team in those ways, and then after that, you can make those slight adjustments. Okay, I have a Wrecking Ball is aggressive. It doesn't mean I have to play aggressive because Wrecking Ball plays a different style of aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Overall, it's not bad. It's just those are the improvements that can be made. If you like this video, make sure to the like button, subscribe to all 3 YouTubes if you haven't. Make sure to leave a comment so you can just let what here's you want to see, things you want to know, etc. I'm thinking of maybe like sometimes looking at like comments after and like maybe like adding them to videos for fun. I think it'd be kind of cool. I've seen that done before where people can like, you kind of like can look at some of the fun comments, hot takes, or like just questions in general, which would be kind of cool. Outside of that, if you want to submit your own spectator, look in the description below and what you'll see my Discord. You join my Discord. You can submit stuff there. We have a lot of different things, and yeah, we record these live on stream. If you look below the webcam, you can see the Twitch chat. We have a lot of fun here, so stop by if you haven't. With that being said, hope you have an amazing day / night.